Hi, I'm Nilisha, all the way from Nepal. The book I chose, the book I'm going to talk about is Orange is the New Black by the Piper Kerman. And this is that book. The passage I chose comes from the chapter 1 at this point. In this passage, Piper is just beginning her involvement with Nora, a woman who introduced her into the world of drugs and the danger. This paragraph shows the moment when Piper makes a decision to travel with Nora. It feels like exciting and kind of full of promising, but it is not. It is the very first step towards making the big mistake in her life that's going to alter her life forever. And the passage goes like this. Just weeks before I was to leave Northampton, Nora learned that she had to return to Indonesia. Why don't you come up with me? Keep me company, she suggested. You don't have to do anything, just hang out. I had never been out of the United States. Although I was supposed to begin my new life in California, the prospect was irresistible. I wanted an adventure, and Nora had one on offer. Nothing bad had ever happened to the guys from Northampton who had gone with her exotic places at errand boy. In fact, they returned with high flying stories that only a select group could even hear. I rationalized that there was no harm in keeping Nora company. She gave me money to purchase a ticket from San Francisco to Paris and said there would be a ticket to Bali waiting for me at Garuda air counter at Charles de Gaulle. It was that simple. Nora's cover for her illegal activities was that she and her partner in crime, goated guy named Jack, were starting an art and literary magazine. Questionable, but it lent itself to vagueness. When I explained to my friends and family that I was moving to San Francisco and would be working and traveling for a magazine, they were uniformly surprised and suspicious of my new job. But I rebuffed their question, adopting the air of a woman of mystery as I drove out of Northampton, headed with my buddy Lisa. I felt as if I were finally embarking on my life. I felt ready for anything. So at this point, and the reason why I chose this paragraph is that it shows that Piper is hungry for her freedom, adventure, and independence. She wanted to break out of her safe life and take risks, even though she didn't understand that what those risks mean. I can connect this feeling to myself because I also left my home country Nepal to study abroad. I felt excited and nervous at the same point. Like Piper, I didn't know what chances were waiting for me, but I wanted that to take a leap and create a new chapter for myself. Okay, one word that stood out to me in this whole passage could be uh, rebuffed. Here in the third paragraph, it says that I rebuffed their question. So I rebuffed their question means like I totally ignored their questions. So whatever my family and friends come up with me, I just ignored it. I just ignored it. So this shows that how Piper was closing herself from the warning because she wanted to live her own decision. She wanted to live her life where her parents, her family, relative doesn't matter at all. Okay. So basically, as I said before, this passage connects strongly to my own experience. When Piper decided to go with Nora to Indonesia, she was leaving behind her comfort zone, her parents, and the predictable life she knew that she will have in her home country. So, even though she didn't realize the danger waiting for her in upcoming life, so in a different way, I also left my home country for my better. I mean, I also left my home country, my comfort zone, my family, everything to come abroad, to come to USA for my studies. Both of us stepped into something unknown and exciting. But there is an important difference. Piper's decision was risky and it caused her really trouble. But there, but I came here. I came here to study for my, I mean, I came here to study for my future. By the end of my bachelor, I hope that I would be a person that I want to be, and I want to make Nilisha proud of. And I want to make my that older self Nilisha to be proud of this 19-year-old girl, Nilisha. So that's my main goal. Okay. So, coming back to the point, Piper's decision was risky, and her that problem that caused the biggest trouble. So, while my decision is just doing an education and building a better future for myself, understanding her choice makes me reflect more deeply on my own. It reminds me whenever we make a big leap in life, whether it's for adventure or for growth, our choices have its own consequence. So reading her story makes me appreciate that the courage it takes to leave the home country, but also it reminds me the importance of thinking carefully about the paths you're going to choose. So we need to be really cautious whatever we are going to do. So you better know your consequences, you better know what you're going to do, so that you don't end up losing your peace of mind. Okay. So reading these paragraphs, reading the book till today, it makes there's one question I have arised. One question from these three passages is that I have read this passage. I mean, how much of our future is shaped by the choices we make when we are young and searching for adventure? Piper's decision to travel with Nora changed her life completely. I wonder if she had said no, what kind of life she would have right now. I mean, she definitely wouldn't be in jail. She definitely wouldn't be in jail, and she wouldn't be out of her family. She wouldn't. She must, like, by the time she must have her family. Like, she would be with her parents. Maybe she will be having a better life right now if she didn't agree with Nora. So, after reading book so far, and specifically from this chapter, I have understood that I need to be cautious. You need to know what you're doing, especially when you are really independent. I mean, when there's no one to guide you, it's really difficult for me, for you, and everyone. Every time, like, when like we just say, like, I have my friends, they will do that help to me. Like, that person seems trustworthy. Let's trust them. Just because they speak nice, definitely don't mean that they are nice in real life. We really need to be cautious in each and every steps. Just make sure that you are kind every time. So this is my motto in my life: be kind to yourself. That's it. Okay. Thank you for listening to my book talk on Orange and the New Black by Piper Kerman. So this passage stood out to me. So I hope you enjoyed listening to me. It made me reflect on my own journey and reminded me how powerful our choices could be. So thank you. Bye bye.